In a world where Nintendo dominated everything, there was one 64-bit console to rule them all. That's right. Welcome to the Neon Pocket Dimension podcast. We get nerdy, hang out. We talk about video games, talk about all sorts of fun stuff. Bunch of people here today. We got the normal people and we got a fun guest. So let's go down the line. We got Boxcar Miguel, aka Miguel, right next to me. What's up, man?
I'm waving. Yeah, there it is.
All right, I'm gonna skip our special guest because I like to save the best for last. We got Zaddy Supreme. Luke shot first.
Me.
Oh,
It's him.
looks like he's.
Oh, it's definitely him.
He's buzzing. He's buzzing. He's zipping and zooming.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Whoa!
Right as me.
Whoa! At least it's not me this time. Let's jump straight over to the singer bro, aka Mr. Steven from Utah. Hello.
How's it going?
And then
How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm happy. Looks like we might have Gage back. Say hi, Gage.
At least he's smiling, right?
Oh, he never left.
Oh no! Oh, now he's animated, so that's a good sign. And then
I
finally,
thought we were gonna get Static Gauge.
finally, we have a special guest today. You know him on Twitch at twitch.tv/JimTasty and around the internet as just an all-around awesome fellow. That's Brett, aka Jim Tasty. What's up, man? Thanks for being here today.
Of course, I'm excited to talk about Nintendo and hang out with y'all. So it's gonna be a fun night.
Woo, woo, woo,
do it.
woo. All right, cool. Well, we got a little housekeeping to throw out there. Hey, guess what? We're on YouTube. You should check us out on YouTube. Just search at Odd Valley Studios. You'll find all our content there. If you want to watch this show live, twitch.tv/Neon Pocket Dimension. Make sure to check out Jim Tasty on Twitch as well. Again, at twitch.tv/Jim Tasty. He streams a lot of fun stuff. Fortnite, I see you playing. Mario Party. I see you playing Party Animals. I know you just had a stream just the other day. How'd that go, man?
Oh, it's always like you said. 2 out of the 3 games you listed had party in the name, so it's always a party, having a good time, hanging out, just chilling.
Hell yeah. And you're all about
Yeah.
meaningful connections, which is...
Real meaningful connections. That started out as a bit. I don't know if you guys know Gino V. Terry around the interwebs, and he checked me on that, and I was like, you know what? I'm putting it in my chat. It's gonna be the little recurring Nightbot thing. So it's become part of the lore.
Love it. It's wholesome. It's great. So check him out. He's a fun dude, and we're always raiding you, man, after these podcasts anyway. Also, hey, you want to know when we're recording? It's usually Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific. Sometimes on Wednesday nights. If you want to know for sure, find us on Twitter, fucking X, whatever you want to call it, at NPD Squad, all that fun stuff. Gage?
I was just saying, don't call it X.
No, I would have to agree with that. It's Twitter.
Gotta hate it.
It will forever be Twitter.
Fuck you, Elon. Yeah, and I'm keeping that in. I'm not editing that out. And then, yeah, by the way, we got fun emotes and all that cool stuff. But hey, if you could just go check out our YouTube, click that little subscribe button. We get all sorts of fun content. Steven on the end there, he's been making some great shorts. TikTok, you'll find us on there at Neon Pocket Dimensi, because it cut off some of it. But if you just... What's that?
Hey, I mean, if you pull up the page, it does say the full name. So
that's true. So you can search for Neon Pocket Dimension on TikTok. That's all our stuff. Let's have some fun, boys. A lot of boys here today. A lot of boys, men. Boys to men?
Let's hear it for the boys.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
Lads.
Lads, gentle fellows. Miguel, where's Sebastian? Is he hopping around the back?
He's behind me. He's been imprisoned in here with me. He was kicked out of the rest of the house. So
He's
trying to entertain him here.
Real quick, am I back? Is everything fine?
Yeah, you're
Yeah, no, you're good.
You're back.
You're good.
Okay, cool.
you are no longer
All right.
Static Gauge.
Yeah, you're
Good,
not
that's
zipping and zooming like the Flash anymore, bro.
I mean, at least it was a flattering photo. Would have been
Right.
There you go.
It's true.
I had forgotten to pull up the chat, so I opened Google Chrome, and that was a mistake because my whole computer went.
Dude, you remember when I used to have that issue where like every time I try to load in an image into OBS, it would like literally disconnect my internet. So I'd be like, "Oops, I loaded something." Man, those are some
It's
days.
so weird. It was such an odd glitch.
Yeah. So hey, Brett, I just wanted to say, hey, let's do a little before we get into the WYBNOO, and I'll explain what that is in just a sec. Why don't we talk a little bit about Twitch streaming, man? Like, what do what's your 2 cents on it? Do you love doing it? Is there like weird stuff you hate about it? Audience engagement stuff. Like, you have any crazy stories for us? Hit us with it, man.
Man, I gotta say, just like overall with streaming, it's definitely, I think, the hardest thing I've ever done. Just because when you go live every day or whenever you go live, like you're competing with the NFL, you're competing with big budget TV shows because there's so many entertainment options out there nowadays, and so it's something you gotta fight for every day, and it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, and that's the thing too. Some people, have crazy success early on, and for others, it's a years long journey. So it's fun to take it day by day, and I think regardless of whatever, like you always meet cool people. Like I've met so many cool people, y'all included, through this whole journey. So that's definitely something that regardless, that's a win. So it's fun, man. It's fun.
What would you say?
I think
So go ahead, Gage. Sorry.
No, go for it. Yeah, I think the first time or for people who haven't like hung out on Twitch or been part of it, like I remember when I first started, I was watching these music streamers who would they'd build like a song live and take input from the Twitch audience and stuff. And I just remember the first time like experiencing it and being like, them talking to you live on their stream, and content is like kind of created by the end of it, something that's like you can kind of hold on to. And I just remember feeling like that connectivity was so special and so unlike any other form of media that I ever experienced. And like it's been pretty cool now, us going on our journey and seeing your streams, Jim Tate. I want to say Jim.
Yeah, you can call me
Jimmy.
Yeah.
It's cool to see this stuff like develop in such a way,
Yeah, I think the first time I ever like really got on Twitch was like 10 years ago when that Twitch Plays Pokemon thing kind of blew up. If you guys remember.
I forgot about that.
And that was like the whole interactivity thing with the chat, and I was like, oh, you can actually influence the game through watching. I was like, that's kind of crazy. And so and then you just see so many different kinds of content and creators. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Miguel, if you didn't know, Twitch Plays Pokemon. Whatever the people typed in the chat, if it was like a button or a direction, it would send it to the game. And so they beat the whole game by the chaos of the chat filling with like A, B, A, B, 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 left, 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 B, B. And actually, if I remember correctly, like the starter set in Twitch Plays Pokemon or whatever was like immortalized somehow with like some sort of art or something like that, right? Someone drew it.
Yeah. There's like the Helix, like all hail the Helix and stuff like that. Like there's just so much lore built within that stream, like, and then actually like progressing through the game. Or I remember tuning in for 30 minutes and they would just be like in a corner, like, because everyone's like, some people were causing chaos, some people were trying to beat the game, like, so it was unreal, and that's what got me hooked on that kind of experience early on.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And now you have a lot of games that like have built-in Twitch functions. Like if you remember, you remember IDARB? That was like one of the
my gosh,
first big ones.
That was
like
that
shit.
Yeah.
Also with Vampire Survivors in the more recent times, which the Twitch viewers can like Miguel, they can just like spawn in a whole bunch of messed up enemies or like hook them up with a bunch of hearts or something based on what they choose. So really cool stuff. Let me ask you one last question, Brett. What would you say is like one or two awesome streams that are completely memorable that you'll like that you'll never forget that you've done?
Oh man. I got okay, so two off the bat. I'll do one recently where we a week ago we had a community stream in my Discord, and we had like 20 plus people playing party animals, and it was just so cool to just be able to just hang out all together at the same, like we were all in the same call, so it was just chaos, but it was like just so cool to hang out with so many people. We had people like that have been part of the community for a long time, then that were newer, and just getting to hang out almost like you're all hanging out in like the living room or something at somebody's house, and just goofing off, like laughing for 7 hours straight, how long we were playing. Like, that was definitely like so wonderful because it just gave me the takeaway that like that's what it's all about, is like hanging out with people and having a good time, right?
Yeah.
And then another cool memory or a cool stream was this was like during it was in 2020 during the lockdown when I just kind of got started, and I think getting rated by Kind of Funny themselves. I think it was when Barrett and Blessing were doing their Donkey Kong 64 streams.
Donktober, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's I didn't even plan to bring that up because of the topic tonight, but that's like one of my favorite games ever, and so they love that game and I love that game, and then when they shared, like, that connected me to those guys who are, you know, huge on the internet. So it was just super cool to like be able to again meet and get to share that connection with cool, you know, big people like that.
The best friends are a good community to be part of. It's not too shabby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome times, and I'm over here. My computer is struggling to bring up this clip, but I just wanted to show a little bit of that madness while we continue to talk. Good times though, man. You know, streaming's fun. It can be great if you have an awesome community, and typically there's a lot of great people on Twitch. But here's just like a little snippet of the chaos of Party Animals. I know that we have a couple clips that have been posting all week on our YouTube shorts of Party Animals. And it's just, you're just a floppy, stupid animal, and you're just getting kicked in the face, and it cracks me the hell up. So I just want to at least show a tiny bit of footage there. Cool. So the next part of this podcast is what we call the WYBNOO. And what does the WYBNOO stand for? That is, what have you been nerding out on lately? Or what you've been nerding out on lately. That's how I've always said it. So that just means, hey, what have you been nerding out on in the last week? I usually like to start with the guest. I feel like it's a little too much pressure. We could talk about what we've been nerding out on, but it's up to you, Brett. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. So I've been watching Ahsoka, and it's really cool. It's given some awesome moments. I got to watch episode 5 in a movie theater a few weeks back, and so getting to like experience Star Wars on the big screen again after so long. I mean, 4 years, but like, it's just really cool, man. I'm really thoroughly enjoying that show. And then a few days ago was Halo 3's 16th anniversary, and so I was playing that game like all Tuesday, and yeah, it's like you can still play a game like that. You know, we're gonna talk about the N64, and that's, you know, that had an anniversary yesterday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, you know, when a game is timeless like that, it's a cool feeling because you know, a lot of things are in the moment, right? But something like that still is enjoyable so many years later. Pretty cool.
Absolutely love it.
It shows that it was like ahead of its time, right? In a certain way, or just understood like, you know, kind of a fundamental like what's fun about gaming, you know.
Yeah, like with Halo 3, like the campaign is amazing. The multiplayer is still like one of the best feature sets. You got Forge mode, which was new at the time, theater mode new at the time, like all day one, like ready to go. Like that's pretty sick. Pretty cool.
Yeah, hella rad. I remember when Halo 3 launched, and it was like one of the biggest cultural moments ever of the entire world. In fact, all over Reddit, dude, if you follow the Halo subreddit, because of that same day where you're streaming the Halo 3 anniversary, people just kept reposting the video from like that launch night. They're just like a massive like party bus that's like bedazzled showing up, and all these gamers and like Xbox people coming out and stuff. It was like, but this is before GTA was huge and stuff. But this was like, it earned some of the most, you know, it was like one of the biggest openings even in the movie scene of its time, and it was totally wild as hell. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember Times Square footage and stuff. Yeah.
Miguel's like, I was playing the PlayStation. I didn't touch that Halo shit.
I didn't really. I mean, Halo's fun, but I'm not huge on Halo. It's just me.
You don't want to finish the fight, Miguel?
God, that was a thing.
I never really even started it, so let's be honest.
That's a whole other conversation, all right? Cliffhangers, you know?
Set
This
him
was
up.
still in the day when,
Knock 'em
like,
down.
yeah, I remember my buddy brought his game to school. Like, you'd be in
Yeah.
homeroom, and you like just pull it out. Like, I have my copy actually right here. Like, you just
Woo!
like you just pull it out and show it off, and that was that got you through the day of going to school.
I did that with Gears of War on the 360.
Iconic game. Yeah.
Dude, right over here, if I look hard enough, I have at least one copy of Halo 3 as well. I can pull it out. I don't know. It's gonna take too much digging. It's very
mine's
dark in here.
buried, but I have some 360 games tucked away somewhere for sure.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Is that all you've really been nerding out on this last week? You think?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm gonna get back into Loki because the new season's coming out soon. So
Oh yeah.
I'm stoked.
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
when does that drop? Sometime
it's like
October.
the 5th. The 5th.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is it October?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
October. Yeah, it's coming up real soon,
I'll
Miguel.
definitely be watching that.
Yeah, I think that's the big MCU thing that I'm still like actually looking forward
I'm looking
to.
forward to that shit, man.
Yeah,
I'm interested in what they do with Jonathan Majors and stuff. They haven't really put out much statements about that whole thing yet, and like if they're gonna rework that, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
I think with that, like it's too far gone with this season. I think after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think with respect to the whole situation, I think it's still playing out. I think legally, and so regardless, you have that season now, and there's that TMZ video of him like stopping that fight or whatever, which is
that was
weird,
so
but...
fucking stupid, dude. He's like, "Hold on, guys, stop!" Sliding them over slightly. It's like, no, that wasn't staged at all. It was like his nieces or something, probably.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump over to Mr. Gage. What you been nerding out on, man?
Woohoo! I've been also watching Ahsoka. I actually just watched the most recent episode right before this podcast, and I'm really loving that show. I think it's a total return to form for Star Wars in a lot of ways. I mean, Andor, we all know my thoughts on Andor, being really excited about that kind of almost new direction for Star Wars, but I think this takes a lot of the camp of Star Wars, but a lot of the heart of Star Wars. I don't really want to spoil this, but there's a relationship between Ahsoka and another character who you might be able to infer.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, I won't. That is really heartwarming to see, and it's kind of a nice. I can't say anything more without it being spoilery.
You better
but,
stop. You better stop that shit right now.
I'm gonna stop.
Stop talking.
Spoilergate.
But it's a really enjoyable show, and it's got a lot of heart to it, I'd say. And then there's this new character who technically has been in Star Wars before, but not like this iteration. And his name's Balin, and played by Ray Park, who recently passed away. Rest in peace. But his character is really cool in it too, and I'm just like loving kind of the mystery there behind that character. And I don't know, it's really good. I'm loving it so far. And then I've been diving further and further into the Starfield, as they say. And I guess since I've been on the podcast since I wasn't on it last week, I also beat Armored Core 6.
Ooh, good
Yeah.
job.
Ooh.
So, God, what a game! I'm playing through on New Game Plus also sparsely.
Good
I
job.
mean, I'm kind of all I'm kind of all in on Starfield right now, so I kind of put that on halt. But God, what a game! The end of that game is so freaking epic. I can't wait for you to beat it. Other people on this panel, so we can talk about it. Yeah.
Great job.
That one's for you too.
But Starfield's fun. I'm just lately my whole thing has just been like going to weird planets, waiting for a ship to land, talking to whoever that person is, and then stealing their ship and leaving them marooned on the planet and going away.
So
that's
Man, yeah, not to hijack, but like I was on a planet, and I think it was a moon. Probably maybe it's the moon. There's like this ship that gets broken down, and it's like, oh, we just need the ship parts, and right. So I give them the ship parts, and I'm like, what if I just steal their ship? Like, those are my ship parts. I don't want to part with that.
Yeah.
What if I just took it, and I took off, and I kind of felt like really bad.
Damn.
Oh no, it feels bad for sure. Especially I found one. This is terrible, guys. I found one that was full of school children,
Yeah. I know that one.
and they were like, "Hey, is there any chance we're kind of in a pickle here?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then I just like I have the like skill where I can knock out their engines, and then I just boarded them and took their ship, and that was that.
Wow, that is.
Fun
Feel
game.
good about yourself?
I feel an odd sense of video game good. It's good. I'm having fun being
Yeah.
bad.
Nice.
I like how he had to specify video game.
Video game.
I'm not a bad person, I swear.
It's like feels
Just a bad Bethesda person.
There you go.
That's always fun being bad.
But anyways, Armored Core is so far is my game of the year right now. It has officially surpassed Zelda for me, which is insane to say. But
What a year, right?
what a year,
Man.
But anyways, that's my WYBNOO for now.
All right, Mr. Steven, what you been nerding out on, man?
Starfield.
Ooh.
And I don't know if I mentioned, but I
That's
beat
hot.
the Crimson Fleet questline.
Ooh,
And
very
that's what I'll
nice.
say on that. There's no spoilers there. I got some cool outfits.
Cool.
I got like a weird gold jumpsuit, and that's fun.
Ooh.
That's it though. I think that's
you haven't been watching anything, or?
still listening to Star Wars, the Thrawn audiobooks.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Chipping away at those. So, needless to say, I've not started Ahsoka yet, but I've heard rumblings. So
That's rumblings, I guess. Yeah.
that will be the next thing. I watched the first episode of The Bear.
Oh, yeah. Welcome.
Season 2 or Season 1?
Hell yeah.
Just season one.
Okay.
I just barely started because but very fast paced show. Very
French
fast
fry
paced.
when you pizza,
so
you're
far.
gonna have a bad time.
That's the closest food-based sample I have. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's just like you kind of feel the stress watching the show, but also it's exciting because, especially for the end of that first episode, that's when they got me. The very end of the first episode, when he called him chef, I was like, all right,
Yep.
you got me. I'm in. Let's go.
Dude, you're in for a wild ride, man.
So yeah, I'm excited to get into that, and then probably Ahsoka is the next thing I'll watch. But that is it for me.
Sweet. And then we got Ash Levels Ninjas in the chat saying The Bear is great. I agree. It's a good show.
Yeah.
I just I want some of that food. Let me eat it.
Oh yeah, that was what I was gonna say. Like the food looks so good, man.
Dude, when we went to Chicago, it's my turn anyway. When we went to Chicago, we tried to dip beef, and actually it was delicious. Also, they have very good hot dogs. But you can't put ketchup on the hot dogs in Chicago, or they'll call you a bitch.
Yeah.
What do you put on or the hot dog then?
It's just
Sauerkraut, probably.
you gotta they gotta dress it up. You know what I mean? Like they put all sorts of stuff on there. It's delicious. But you put ketchup,
Onions.
you're in trouble, man. They're gonna make fun of you, man. So just so you know, you go to Chicago, don't
Put salsa
order ketchup.
on there.
Also, by the way, there's a Portillo's there we tried. Very delicious. They're building one in Vegas, man. I'm fucking stoked. I'm so stoked. I love Portillo's when we tried it. What have I been nerding out on? Well, I beat Starfield. I don't know if I said that last week. I'm in the new game plus. Not going to spoil anything, but, it's new game plus. You can assume the game starts over and you have your stuff, right? I mean, that's just new game plus. That's not a spoiler. Everybody can assume that. That is happening.
Standard.
I landed on New Atlantis, and then I quit the game, and I started playing Armored Core 6 again because I have a massive backlog. I made it to Chapter 4. I'm, on Part 3 of the Underground Fortress thing, or whatever the heck that means. But, hey, I just have so much fun, buying, I keep replaying missions just to get a bunch of credits so I can collect every part and then just try them in the practice mode. It's called AC test. Thank you. The AC test mode. It's just think of a fighting practice mode, only it's in Armored Core 6. And you can actually change your assembly, your parts on the fly. So you can easily compare this booster says it does this boost distance, but then this booster says it refills this much faster. So then you could just swap them in and out and test that. Or you can also spawn in enemies to just do battles. And so I just I get really stoned, right? And then I just try all these weapon combinations, and I'm just blasting the same fucking AC over and over and over again, trying all these weapons. It's a lot of fun, man. At one point, Gage, on my tetrapod one, I literally every weapon was a missile, and I was just flying in the air, dropping missiles from my arms, dropping missiles from the shoulders. It's just a good time, man. I love that game. So yeah,
it's so fun to experiment with different mechs. I have my 4 kind of dialed builds, kind of one for each different type of scenario, and yeah, you get locked in. It's pretty cool.
The newest AC I've created, I'm calling the Heavy 10, and it's because it's a biped, right? because I got biped legs that are like the oh my god, I'm forgetting the name, but it's the red mech, or it's the red mobile suit in Char's Revenge or whatever the heck it's called. Oh my god, I'm sorry. You all know I
The one
love
with the little,
Gundam.
like, I know what they look like. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He's got really wide legs, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a thick boy. And so I'm just buying all the thickest parts. I'm gonna make him a big fatty, and then he's just gonna go through and like have a ton of health and defenses and just smash, smash, smash. It's such a good time, man. Also, like, I like that in the levels you can find like special parts that you can't buy and stuff. Like that's how I found the chainsaw arm and stuff. It's a damn good game. If you just like big robots, you need to play that game like immediately. Also,
and the end of that game, man, is just so much good from softiness. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think of it, because I loved it.
oh yeah, you know, and we're planning on doing the Armored Core spoiler cast, so we will do that in the future and talk all about it. Same thing with Starfield. And then I've been finally reading my Junji Ito Uzumaki compendium novel, whatever, trade, I guess. Is that what? I don't know. I'm not a comic person. That's what they call it in American comics. Manga trade? I don't know. Regardless, I've read through the first 4 or 5 chapters. It's really fucking wild and scary. We're getting into spooky season. I've already started watching horror films. Today I just watched the Autopsy of Jane Doe, which I'd give a 3 out of 5. It's decent. I also finished the other half of Fresh, which I thought was a pretty fun thriller. It's on Hulu. Check that shit out. Also, what else am I playing? Oh, I want to download Monster Hunter now because everybody keeps saying it's good on mobile. I don't know. Party Animals. We played that. That was fun. Y'all should play that. It's on Game Pass. What else? One last thing I'll mention. Alan Wake 2 is getting amazing previews right now. I wanted to get the game eventually, but because the previews are saying it's like really like going to be like a fully like next gen experience, I kind of have to buy it. So I don't know. It's not good. I have too many games as it is. Miguel, what you been nerding out on, man?
I'm gonna say beer. I've been drinking a lot of sours.
Fuck yeah.
I was in San Diego on Friday, and I had a bunch of sours there. I came home and had a bunch of sours when we were playing D&D. I was hungover on Sunday for the most part, I think.
We drank a lot.
I did drink a lot.
Drink a lot.
So I spent the day trying to play Mass Effect, but falling asleep and then waking up to my Mexican shepherd staring into the ground and walking in circles.
French fry with a pizza, you're gonna have a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get very far, but I've been trying to play that because it's been a long time and I want to play through Legendary.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm gonna take a break from games for a little bit, only because I just beat God of War and just need a break. I think.
I get it. That game's long.
But I've been watching a lot of random ass movies. I watched Alien 3 last night.
Oh, nice.
And then I fell asleep. Then I woke up to the middle of Aliens.
Oh yeah.
I was watching that, and then I didn't really do too much else other than Mass Effect since the last time, to be honest with you.
Nice.
But yeah, just random movies as always, and same old shit.
Have you guys, all you guys, question, have you guys seen What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of it, not all of it.
I've seen the movie. I've never seen the show.
The show is fucking amazing.
It's
you
so
need
good.
to watch it.
Yeah.
It's so fucking awesome. Like, you have no fucking idea how good that show is if you have not seen it. You definitely need to watch it.
It's too good.
It is fucking insanely great. Guillermo is amazing. He's one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah.
All the vampires are great.
Uh-huh.
So I highly recommend that, Gage. If you have not put that on,
Is it still Taika Waititi and that?
Yes.
Or is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
and they still come on.
yeah, producer.
Taika Waititi and what's his name?
Brett,
Jermaine.
Jermaine. Yeah.
Clement. Yeah, there you go.
They've come on the show.
Yeah.
So
they
those characters still exist. It's fucking awesome, dude.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
I love that show. It's so good.
I forgot to bring this up, but yeah, we started season 5, so big recommendation. Spooky month's coming up. Just
Wait,
watch
season
it.
5?
Oh yeah, it's debuted already, man. Time to jump in. yet again.
I thought they were only on the 3rd season.
Yo, have you missed a whole season? And there's another
I
season.
didn't miss the 4th season. You
There's
sure
a
about
season.
that?
Yes, this is season 5 currently. Anyway,
We're just opening
watch
a
it.
door to his psyche right now.
He's like, what?
It's
I
like-
don't believe that. Is that what
It's
watching
true.
on?
We're just watching it.
Oh shit! Maybe I did miss a whole season.
You did. So you got under season and a half to watch. So anyway,
That's very possible.
that's what we've been nerding out on this week. Thanks everyone for participating in that segment that we do every single week. Let's talk about Nintendo 64, guys. I want to start off this conversation with footage from this VHS I got from Nintendo Power when I was like
Oh my god.
10 or 12 or
Oh
something.
yeah.
It's fucking amazing, and it starts off so funny. So let's just, I might have to clip this out. If so, you can see the link in the bottom or the description below. But just watch this with me for a sec.
September 29th, N64 is scheduled for release in North America. The system is about to change. But before it does, we decided to invite 3 of the best gamers in the country to put it to the test. This is N64.
Hold on, look at the gamers.
Wow.
Yo, we got David Checkle, aka Quickfinger, martial arts and sports master. We got Brian O'Rourke,
Little
aka
John.
extended play, action and adventure expert. This is what
Amazing.
these are some gamers. Steve Greaves, aka Game Face,
Game Face.
undefeatable. All right, yeah, I just want to start us off with that because I thought
More
it was
like
hilarious.
face. Wow.
It's so fucking 90s, dude.
It's so great.
Those nicknames, man, incredible.
It's hilarious. But you gotta watch the whole video. Thanks to World of Nintendo on YouTube for that footage. It's the entire VHS is there. I started watching it and I was like, "Is this the one I had?" And instantly, dude, even the image of the VHS packaging itself was like, "Oh my god, this is blowing my mind." So yeah, Nintendo 64, right? 64 bits. I think PlayStation was already out. I believe like the 3DO is out. Sega already had stuff. Nintendo itself was pretty silent. The Super Nintendo dominated the market, although Sega kids would deny that. And so,
Fuck those Sega kids.
damn, that's man, that's a hard
just
stand.
thought you-
They're the vocal minority over here.
Don't listen to me.
And then all of a sudden, Nintendo was like, "Guess what, bitches? We got 64-bit graphics, baby." And then they came out with that promotional VHS, and I watched it 100 times and begged my mom to get an N64, and I saved all my birthday money for like a couple years and put my own money into it too. It was awesome. So N64, Nintendo 64. Have you guys? First question: has anyone else had an N64 in their lives? Between all these people,
I mean, yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Miguel didn't. Okay, Miguel. But did you have at least like a friend down the street?
I knew a friend who had one, but I did not have one.
Oh, okay, cool.
Were you a PlayStation kid at the time? Is that what we can assume?
I was indeed.
Nice,
Nice.
cool. Now that question's out of the way, so we know a little background, right? What do you guys have some memories of the N64? Some like fun stories or anything like that?
So real quick, I've kind of briefed this on the podcast before, but I grew up in a family that didn't like me consuming a lot of media, right? So even though I was old enough to the Super Nintendo was around during my younger childhood. The N64 was my first console actually because I got my tonsils out, and everyone said it was going to be ice cream and get to stay home from school and be all excited. But it was awful. I was like, my whole throat was closed. I could barely speak for like 2 weeks. I had a really bad adverse reaction to the whole thing, and it was brutal. I was in so much pain and suffering, and I had to be home from school for like a full 2 weeks. And mostly as a kid, you're just bored being at home for that long. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom felt so bad that she went and bought me an N64, which was like the nicest thing ever.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't like Christmas or a birthday or anything. It was like she just felt so bad that I was just at home, bored out of my mind, in a lot of pain. And so, she bought me the N64 bundle with Banjo-Tooie included in it.
Oh wow.
Not even the first one, Kazooie. It was Banjo-Tooie, and so Banjo-Tooie was the first N64 game I ever played.
That game's so great, though.
But oh my god, it rules. To this day, I like it better than Mario 64. I know that's blasphemy to a lot of people, but I think it's a better platformer through and through. I think the worlds are more imaginative. I think the really cool.
He's got some robot
He went
thoughts.
full on peanuts.
He's got some.
Nintendo's already after him.
He spoke some controversial stuff. They're trying to
Full on
cancel.
peanuts.
Charles
Nintendo
Martinet's out.
Bowser.
Charles Martinet's outside of his like power box, just like cutting.
Just
What? He'll be back later.
to you.
We all.
Oh, wait.
Is he back? Is he back? We all know Charles Martinet has a lot of time now on his hands. You know,
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
What else is he
they
doing, right?
could be dispatching him on missions around the world to defeat all the dissenters.
Dude, I like
He
this
came
idea
for
of a
me. He
secret
said in the
agent,
chat.
Charles.
He said it came from me.
Blink
Brett,
twice if you're safe.
Gamer, Gage, are you back? Are you back?
Oh,
No.
No, I don't think he
Oh,
is, dude.
let's go to
his door
Brett.
moved. His door moved in the back. See that? There.
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh
man,
no.
it's a ghost. Nintendo ghost.
Brett, how'd you get your N64, man?
So the N64 was my first home console as well. Unless, I don't know if you guys count the Sega Nomad as a home console, but that you guys don't know what that is?
No, I don't.
No.
I vaguely remember that thing.
I know the name.
So the Sega Nomad was like it was a failure, but it was a pretty cool piece of tech where it was like a portable Sega Genesis that they released like right around when the Saturn had come out. And but so you put in the Genesis cartridges, and there was a AV in and out and stuff like that, and power cords. So you could like set it, you could like hold it and have it connected to a TV, and yeah, there you go.
So like the
And
Game Gear almost, like.
But
Wow.
like imagine
Oh.
like
It sounds like it's the original Switch.
it kind of is, dude.
Almost like
It
the
kind
Wii
of
U.
is like the only downside was that the batteries were atrocious. Like you bought like it took 6 AA's and it lasted like 2 hours. Like especially back in the 90s too, like when batteries were even more expensive, like it was rough. But it was like there's a controller port at the bottom so you could play 2-player games. Like it was basically a full-fledged Genesis, but like portable. Like imagine now, like it's almost like the Steam Deck too, right? Like where it's like the Steam Deck's basically like a PS4 or whatever, like just the previous gen but portable. But anyways, that's a little bit of a tangent there.
That's pretty cool.
I got my N64 for my 5th birthday, 1998, and it was like one of those things when you have your birthdays or Christmases, like you tell your parents, I want this, I want this, I want this, but you never truly know, because they'll always be like, nah, we're not getting you that, or we'll get you something else or whatever. So I remember opening it up and just being like just pure euphoria. They had like Mario, they had Zelda or Link, then they had the Stormtrooper, they had those like 5 little guys on the box, and on the back they had like Tetrasphere and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my first ever game for the N64 was Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh.
And best kart racer of all time, by the way. I don't know
Agreed.
if that's controversial.
Agreed.
Too. Best game, like awesome game. Yeah. So I remember picking Crunch as my first character.
The alligator.
For my first ever race, and he stinks. Like he's a low tier character. I don't know what the tier list is for that game.
He's
but,
definitely low tier. Yeah.
But yeah, and it was one of those things where like we got it. I opened it up for my birthday, and then like that's all I like was doing. Like party's over, everyone can go home. Like I'm gonna be playing this now, and yeah, and the rest was history.
That's amazing. Steven, do you have a N64 story?
Yeah, so I remember, I have a couple, right? So history with me is my grandma got me my N64, right? It's like my household. It's like a Christmas present for my house, right? And came with Star Fox, right? and God, play that. We probably played that like 100 times before we were done playing it, like for real. So
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
do a barrel roll.
Do
Yeah.
a barrel roll.
Drilled into our head as a kid, but I just remember breaking so many damn controllers over the life of that N64. The stick
Yeah.
would always like it would sag, right? And then it just wouldn't hold its thing. But man, what a fucking game.
So good.
For those listening, Jacob pulled up like Star Fox 64, like a preview of the cartridge.
You can
Really
buy
like-
this on Amazon right now. What's that, Miguel?
Said it comes without the Rumble Pack.
It
True.
does.
Yeah.
And that was a whole other thing maybe we'll get into later, but
Oh, yeah, Rumble Pack. I forgot about Rumble Packs.
my
Yeah.
crazy story was convincing my parents to buy me Conker's Bad Fur Day. For
Oh.
long.
Oh man.
And like, as you know, if any of you played that game, it's definitely not kid appropriate.
No.
I know what you're talking about.
And dude, my brothers, so we played through that game, I don't know, along with like Banjo Kazooie, probably like 20 times a piece.
Yeah.
And then Ocarina, of course, was one of the big ones. But that was the craziest one because it had like, didn't it have multiplayer at the time? Was that
It did.
a thing? Yeah.
So
And like you could pee on people. Like, yeah, it was crazy, dude.
Conker's Bad Fur Days multiplayer was like a lot of like weird third-person shooter battlegrounds where it's like squirrels versus teddy bears or some shit. If you remember that properly. Yeah.
But I'm surprised my parents are just like, oh yeah, cool. That game is fine.
I mean,
Like-
on the outside, it looks like a cute animal game. You know what I mean?
Right. And they told me later, like, yeah, we only got you that game because we're like, oh, well, it's got a squirrel at the front. How much harm could it do, right?
A lot.
So,
And then,
Yeah, people
Yeah.
forget that those rare games all had like multiplayer suites for a long time. Like Banjo-Tooie had a full-on GoldenEye first-person shooter where you're holding Kazooie as like an egg gun, and the different eggs that you can pick up in the game. Like there was a grenade egg that's like a rocket launcher. It was like relatively. I used to have a lot of fun
They
with
were
those
fun.
back in the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's
But
pretty.
yeah, Conker's weird one too.
I just did, and then you look back at it, you're like, wow, that probably didn't hold up.
I mean, the
The
360
Matrix part was really cool, though. I
the
will say.
the 360 remake of that game does hold up though. I will say.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
What was that, Miguel?
I said for the time, it was, I mean, you look back, a lot of those games, they don't hold up now, but for the time, they were fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible. I mean, you guys remember those three gamers we just showed a second ago? They were ecstatic. They were
That's
ecstatic.
my point.
Good
I was
point.
one of those gamers.
Yeah, same.
What year did this come? It came out in what, 90?
96, dude. September 96.
Yeah.
20
So it was like right before I started high school.
right.
So,
Wild.
I mean, that was some like fucking awesome shit. You guys are making me feel old, by the way.
And there's just so many great parts in that game, though. Like that game, just maybe the graphics didn't hold up as much.
And I,
Some
know
of
what,
the-
I almost feel like I wonder if the graphics didn't do that much for you guys only because that's what you were used to. Whereas when you were coming from like a Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
a Nintendo, an Atari,
Mhm.
like you got to see the evolution of all this shit, and you
Yeah.
go, it's fucking mind blowing,
Dude, it was
Yeah.
fully mind-blowing. Like,
fucking mind blowing.
I'm only a little younger than you, Miguel, so I know those times as well, man. You know that.
So
You know that.
So like I think, and I hate to say this, but I feel like it's lost on you guys. You don't know what you got.
It's
I don't
true.
know about that.
Dude,
My first
dude,
console
Gen Z-
was-
Gen Z is
Yeah.
even more lost on that. They're like,
That's
I don't
not
give a
exactly.
shit. Trash graphics, trash game, trash
That is
graphics.
true.
But like,
There's a lot of that.
man, it's so annoying.
I hate to
Just had to
sound
see
old,
'cause-
but
Well,
Hey,
and I think
old
all
man-
of us grew up though with
Back in my
seeing
day.
that progression of graphics, though.
True.
think,
I mean,
here,
at least
so.
the millennials, yeah, for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah,
So
I
I
mean,
feel
I remember.
like-
I mean, for me, it was Game Boy. The jump from Game Boy to
Oh,
that was really
yeah.
like the big thing, you know,
Huge.
because it was like I was playing.
And we're back from OBS crashing. Don't know what we were just talking about. You guys remember?
Just how N64 graphics are like so beloved as far as nostalgia, but how they don't really hold up. But then the gameplay mechanics of them are still so like seminal. Like Mario 64 and Mario Kart and Diddy Kong Racing, like you're talking about. Like those are still, when I play those games today, I still have more fun than like playing a modern Mario Kart in a lot of ways.
Not to mention Smash, right? Like,
Oh,
Oh
dude,
yeah.
Smash One still has a very dedicated community at the moment. If you guys didn't, know that.
I have a funny story with Smash where like y'all remember those like little kid haircut places, like they'll have like the like car
Yeah.
boxes that you sit
There's,
into.
yeah.
I was like 6 years old or something when Smash came out, and again, you know, back in those days, you didn't know what games existed, or like, you know, because if you didn't have the magazines, if you know, even on the internet, you didn't know where to go sometimes. Like, I remember like always there was like a season of my life where I would beg my parents to take me to this like kids haircut place, and I was like 6 years old. I remember my dad wanting to go to like whatever, just a normal place. I was like, nah, I gotta play Smash Bros for 15 minutes while I wait before I get my haircut, because I gotta get a taste of it. Yeah, man.
That's incredible.
I still stand by loving that initial Smash 64. I think the physics of it, like, it's way more about, like, we call it, in my friend group, we called it the Valley, where it's like, you know, you can spike people by like essentially down Aing them off the edge.
Hell
And
yeah.
so it was just all about edge control and like just sending people to the Valley, as we called it. and like all of the newer Smashes just are all about this whole aerial combat thing, and it just got like more and more floaty. And I still miss that kind of like grounded, kind of sluggish movement in that game in some ways. I don't know.
Dude, one of my favorite things to do in that game was to play on Fox's level as Fox, and then continuously like get him to the right area where it's like it kind of drops a little and there's a little ledge, and I would just bounce him against the wall, against the top of the thing, back down to the ground, bounce him again. I would just do this, boom, 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 and then finally
with
go
the down,
flying.
with the down B little shield thing.
All sorts of kicks and punches, bouncing them all around like a goddamn pinball machine. That was so fun to do, man. And I was like the best smasher on my block, and then I would get my shit smashed all up as soon as I met some kids who could really play.
Isn't that I feel like we all had that simultaneous experience where like in your friend group there's a certain hierarchy, and then you go play a different friend group and you're like, whoa, they play totally different or on a different level, whatever.
Let's talk about controllers for a second, man. All right, cool. I was like, whoa. Oh, that's the wrong window, y'all. That's the wrong window. Let's get to the correct window. This one. All right, cool.
Snap.
So sorry about that. That's
now we know what to go for.
Oh yeah, big time. Which, by the way, the reason why I brought up that clip that window that was just there is because they still sell them. I wanted to have a picture of the Mad Cats, which we'll talk about in a second here.
Ooh, yeah, dude, yeah.
You guys remember those? But yeah, so this is a complete N64 official controller collection. So let's look at them. So like, obviously this was the regular solid gray. We all remember this one. It came with the console. But the coolest thing about the N64 was all the controller combinations. You know, we had this blue one here. We had this red one. We had the green one, yellow, black. But then we had these crazy-ass ones that were like see-through. Man, that shit was crazy. I feel like N64 is the first time that we had those weird clear ones.
Yep.
I'm trying to think about the timeline of it, but I wonder if it lined up with the Macintosh computers
like
that were also that.
Probably
a little bit later. Or
Probably a little later.
These didn't come out probably at launch, so yeah, they probably were right around the Macs, like late 90s, yeah.
Yeah, I would think like
you're right.
1999 kind of vibes.
You're talking about those really long and fat computer monitor things that had like clear in the back? Yeah.
The big chunky ones, but had like, purple and green, like whatever.
They're called IMAX.
Yeah, the iMac.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And then we had even more. And then this is the first time we had that iconic like GameCube purple.
Gray purple, baby.
God, fucking
That was mine. That was my controller, my special controller. I had a gray one, and then I had that one, and I just remember anytime someone came to my house, it's like, nope, that's mine. Get out of here.
Yeah, you can't touch a certain controller.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's always like, this is my controller, and this is my friend's controller, right?
They get the Mad
The B
Cats.
button might be a little bit messed up, you know. But
God, I haven't seen the packaging for those in so long. They'll have to cut through it with scissors and like tear it all off packaging.
The
You had to
da-
be careful because you might cut the wire too, man. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
God, you're totally right about that. And then you
extreme green.
definitely slice your hand open after you're cutting it because the plastic was
On the plastic
fucking
itself
knife.
is like a razor.
Oh, God, I remember that plastic, man. You know, Pokemon cards used to come in that too.
Oh yeah. Here's a couple special edition Pokemon ones that I thought looked pretty cool too. You can see the
My friend
Pokemon
had the
symbol.
Hey You Pikachu Nintendo 64. I was
I'm so
always
jealous.
that was awesome.
Wow. Great collector's items. So yeah, there's some controllers there, and then of course, like I was saying earlier, and you saw just a moment ago, the Mad Cats. That's not these ones up here. These are like I think they're Hori, so I believe they're made like now.
yeah.
But here's the Mad Cats ones. You guys are
Oh my
Whoa.
look at
God.
these. They
For,
looked fucked up.
For audio people, it's like the middle freaking handle that N64 controllers had is just emphasized to all hell here.
That's a third
It
leg,
looks
bro.
like, dude, really does.
Yeah.
It's like, that's an ugly fucking controller.
That's
I'm
a-
not gonna
So
lie.
weird, man. Why were these controllers designed for aliens with 3 arms? They're so
I don't know.
strange.
That controller never made any sense to me.
And then mouth on the third. Your mouth goes.
Oh, that's three sword style. That's Rowan Norzora. Nice.
Yeah.
Good reference. there.
It's funny, like, because you were talking about like how there's still like a dedicated Smash 64 community, and I know like you can still get third-party controllers where it's like the stick is where the D-pad is, and then that's it. Because honestly, growing up, like most of the games I played never even used like the D-pad at all. Like I like it would literally do nothing, and then even in like Mario Party or whatever, you would just do little sound clips of if you're like Yoshi or whatever, or Mario or whatever. So it was like I'm a defender of this controller. I think it works, but like you just need to cut off like the left grip, because holding it like that, like it feels really good to me. So I might be the outlier there, but I really like the controller.
Yeah,
I
this
think one
is-
of the reasons that first-person shooters work so well on the N64 is because of the trigger actually being a trigger with Z underneath. Like
Oh yeah, in the back.
Mhm.
Was it Perfect Dark? Well, I think it was both Perfect Dark and GoldenEye. They both had. They used the C buttons to look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. That's
Not
dual
good.
analog. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No, that doesn't hold. That doesn't help nowadays. Let's put it that way. It doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, it was clunky at best.
Yeah.
McClunky.
I love GoldenEye.
Just real quick, these are the Hori ones that are made now, and as you can see, just like Brett was saying, like the stick is on the left and the button's on the right. They have a tiny baby
that's almost a
D-pad on the
almost a
bottom.
GameCube controller right there.
Yeah.
I know, which
Yeah.
is clearly the best controller ever. I love the fucking GameCube. So a little bit of controller talk there for you. But yeah, again, just flip into this. Just look at that weird controller. I mean, it was so strange. Like everyone
wonder-
would hold like just the right in the middle. You know what I mean? The left hand, it just shouldn't have existed at all. I think we all agree with that.
I wonder if Nintendo was anticipating porting a lot more Super Nintendo games over,
Maybe.
or
Or-
something like that.
Or just like 2D centric games, because like the Saturn's library is very 2D like centric, and that the Saturn controller doesn't even have an analog stick. And you can get like the special one, but because like again, growing up, none of the games I played used the D-pad for anything. And then I remember like when I started to get into collecting, buying Mischief Makers. If you guys have ever played that game,
Yeah, that one had used the D-pad. I was gonna mention that.
And so I wonder if like they just anticipated their own developers and third parties. I mean, that's a discussion we can get into as well. Like they just thought they didn't know, so they kind of tried to hedge their bets, I guess. If games were going to be more 3D environment or 2D, and for Nintendo it was more 3D.
It's a big gamble, right?
That's more like what I thought is that they essentially were like just making room for developers to develop any kind of game with any controls, but at the detriment of a weird ass controller design. I don't know. It's just so fucking weird.
The PlayStation also, they didn't come with analog 6.2 at the start, right? So
No.
they thought it was going to be more 2D centric anyways, and they started playing games.
True. Well, remember what was it called? The Analog Shock or whatever, the original
I
version.
think it was just the analog.
Dual analog, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't actually have any
Rumble.
rumble feature.
Oh, okay.
Until
So
later.
it was just called the analog or whatever, but it had
Like an analog controller.
and it had those sticks. It was like revolutionary. We're like, oh shit, what? That's
I
crazy.
think Ape Escape was the first game that used it, maybe?
Yes. I
Yeah.
believe that is correct.
Classic game.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little trivia for you guys. What is the first ever officially released, in America, that is, N64 game?
We're not talking about the 2 launch games.
According to Wikipedia, those aren't on there.
Okay, is it Shadows of the Empire?
Wait, hold on. What? Hang on a second. Am I doing this wrong? Oh, there we go. Yes. Sorry, there's 2 games that launched with the N64. I was looking at this.
Only
incorrectly.
2. That's
There
like
was
so
2.
wild. Like
Yeah,
almost
there was
like
2
with,
launch games.
with like Breath of the Wild, where they were like, we're just showing Breath.
It's this
Breath of the Wild
and
at
snipper
E3.
clips.
Yeah, what?
Dude,
what?
that's the same thing.
So we all know Super Mario 64 was the game, right? What was the other N64 game that came out during launch?
Does anybody else know?
There's 2 of them.
I've heard this on a show before, maybe Game Scoop back in the day, but I can't.
Just
Wasn't
while
Star
I
Fox,
remember.
was it?
What? A Star Fox? No, that came out later.
Yeah,
Okay.
a year later. It was Pilot Wings 64.
Boom, you got it.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
was it Pilot Wings?
It's Pilot Wings. Yeah, that's number 1. Good
Nice.
job, Brett. You got it, man. Well, what was the third game to come out? And I'm talking about specifically just in America. Because
job.
Japan had a bunch of games before this, of course.
Great job.
What was the
Was it
third N64 game to come out? Wait, Brett, before you answer, what does everybody else guess? Let's
Mario
see.
Golf, maybe?
No, one guess only. Steven,
Mm,
what do you think? Chat, what do you think? Don't Google.
Win back?
What'd you say? Win
Winback?
back? No, but you know I love
Winback.
Win Back. You know I fucking love Win Back, dude.
I had never heard of that game until it came to NSO. That was
Oh,
cool.
that's funny. I rented the shit out of that game from Blockbuster. Miguel, any guesses? Looks like you're just looking it up on your phone.
No, I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it. No, I honestly, I don't remember.
It's Wave Race 64, guys.
Oh,
Dude,
Oh.
makes sense.
Were you gonna
Okay.
guess that, Brett?
I played that early.
No,
for sure.
I was gonna guess Shadows of the Empire because I know that game
That's
was
a-
pretty early on.
yeah, I was gonna say that was pretty early. So
That came out December 3rd, 1996, while Wave Race 64 came out like literally a month before. Yeah.
About the
November
water
4th.
in Wave Race. I remember just blowing my mind back in the day.
Still to this
Right.
day, dude, it looks so cool. It looks so cool.
So freaking wild.
Shadows of the Empire too. Come on, what a game that was.
Oh, that game was
Oh.
rad, dude.
I'm a huge Star Wars guy, so like I love Dash Rendar and all the
Dash
legends.
Rendar.
Yeah,
What was
man.
his droid's name? I'm trying to remember.
I don't
Was
know.
it 8T88? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
Isn't 8088 the bounty hunter?
No, IG-88 is the other one.
Oh,
But
Dash Rendar's.
You
droid.
fight IG-88 in that game on a junk train through like a trash planet.
Dude, that
Interesting. I
That,
forgot
that's a
that.
game where like if you're playing it on PC, it's way easier because the controller doing a 3D shooter game with one stick.
Yeah.
It's like tough.
I just loved
It's
how that
pretty
game
tough.
like totally baited you in the beginning with being like, "Hey, this is the Battle of Hoth," and then it's completely not about like anything like in the Star Wars canon. Otherwise, it's pretty.
Oh,
good.
you know what? 8T88. I think is that Dark Forces. Did I get my?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Dark
yeah,
Forces,
it
guys. His robot was LEBO2D9. Who would have guessed
Wow,
that
Lebo.
long ass fucking
Lebo.
thing?
Lebo. Okay.
Yikes. Yeah, Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, still one of my favorite games of all time, by the way. That's a great game.
They'll bring They'll bring him back eventually. They're
I hope so.
remastering Dark Forces 1 on
I'm stoked for that.
yeah,
Doom
because that
clone.
game is rough to play nowadays with the controls.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I played
them
on DOS.
modernizing that. Yeah.
I had that on DOS on my computer.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's look at Blast from the Past that Gage dug up. That's right, old school IGN. Let me pull this.
That was
Yeah, it looks
that
great.
was
Go
how
for it.
IGN got started. Yeah. Sorry.
Exactly. Like no, please. IGN originally was Per Schneider and one other guy, I forget his name, started N64.com, which has since been taken back by Nintendo.
Yeah.
But it then went to IGN64.com, and that's what I was able to find using the Wayback Machine. So here, Jacob's going to bring it up.
So I don't know
But look at this
exactly.
website.
It looks like this slice is from like really early on because you could see the activity on the bar on the top, which you guys can't see right now. But this is like one of the like first 3 slices. In fact, I think this is from December 12th, 1998, if I'm not mistaken. Right
Yep.
there. Yeah, it says December 11th. We have Turok, Seeds of Evil, which was one of the most rad games of all time at the time.
Cerebral bore.
Yeah.
That was sick. Well, that was actually from the second one. But yeah.
Was it? Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was sick, by the way. And they brought both those games back to like Steam, I think.
Yeah.
Mario Golf, they're talking about Zelda, and then I found this link that I clicked on. South Park the game. You remember this shit? You played this game, Brett?
Dude.
I think I played it at like a friend's house, and it's not good. Which is funny because
It's not good, no.
they're basically making another one of these now. That one game they just announced a few weeks back or whatever. It's
Yeah,
like another
yeah.
like weird multiplayer 3D cartoon game. So
That was a weird call.
Let me read this caption. This says South Park 64 will utilize Nintendo's 4 megabyte pack for an optional high-res mode.
expansion
Yeah.
pack, dude. Okay, like
Remember that
the
shit?
expansion pack.
Yes,
like,
that's a whole other thing, man.
I remember going to friends' houses and they didn't have it. I was like, oh man, all
I'm
right.
like, what is this?
Hey, you don't got the expansion pack.
I was like, you're at that level. You're at that level. Okay, because like games like Rogue Squadron, like honestly, it's like you're playing the game on hard mode if you don't have the expansion pack because the
Yep.
fog of war is so much worse without
Mhm.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Totally, man. And,
And,
Star
and then the
Wars
Rumble
Rogue
pack,
Squadron.
like, freaking, yeah, that's a different thing entirely.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, the Rumble
Man,
pack was a
I
game
remember-
changer.
I remember Rogue Squadron feeling like it was the prettiest game I'd ever seen in my entire life when I played it. at one point.
They were always like pushing the tech with those games, honestly, because this one looks great, and then like 2 and 3 on GameCube always like were ahead of the curve, like so good. We need a new one of those.
We do.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars Squadrons was great. But
Yeah.
I need the arcadiness.
Yeah, give us the Forza Horizon of Star Wars Squadrons. You know what I mean?
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, and the ability to be third person in your ship, I feel like is like, as much as it's cool to have that cockpit experience, I'm sure, especially in VR, it's like you want to see the ship. The ship is the cool
Yeah.
part, you know?
Yeah,
I have an
yeah.
idea. What about like the crew motor fest, but like Star Wars vehicles?
Okay.
Just Star Wars stuff,
Yeah,
and like
okay.
not at all related to anywhere on Earth. So,
This is some high res graphics, guys. I had to zoom in that much.
oh dude.
So
It's so funny, like play it, yeah, because those games are like, because
Well,
at that era of transitioning to like HD TVs, and you'd still hook up your old N64 to those TVs, and it looked even worse, and you're like,
Right.
oh my gosh,
because they were
it's like-
made for CRT, right? Like
Yeah.
it filled
Yeah.
in some of that muddiness from
Yeah.
the pixels. So
100%, yeah. It's like 240p or less or whatever. Like,
yeah.
whoa, look, the Hyrule Times. What is that?
So like a magazine.
Wow. This is great.
Wait, there's a GameCube there. When's this from?
Oh, this is from 2004, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
I guess I skipped a little too far there.
Have
Let's
you
go to
gotten
the
yourself one yet?
let's go to the IGN boards from July 2001. Just read a couple.
Dang.
We'll rattle a few of these off here.
Just the headlines, yeah.
Is Tony Hawk 2 out for 64 yet? Majora's Mask! Exclamations. Conquer
Conquer.
Sexual innuendo.
The sexual innuendo. It's good.
It's more than innuendo.
Can I
for
even
sure.
read this? I tried to click on one. Yeah, I tried to click on these and it doesn't show it.
I
But-
think they've just all expired from. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can flip through multiple pages at least. Let's see. What's on page 1? Do any stores still sell new jungle green N64? See, people wanted those colors, man. Colors are great, dude.
Well, I remember when PlayStation put out their kind of complimentary ones, the same type of thing where it was clear plastic.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know they did clear plastic. That's cool.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
I remember
They did-
blue clear plastic. Yeah.
I
They
had
didn't
a
do
green one.
the.
It was
They
awesome.
didn't do the systems, right? They just did the controllers.
No, I don't believe. Actually, I think I think there was like third-party sellers selling the systems,
Mhm.
like the case. You could buy the case for it, or I want to even say that you could probably buy the case on its own, and it was actually a PlayStation product. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We got some youngsters in chat saying that this looks like a porn site.
It's
maybe
it's like
nowadays.
Reddit. It's basically Chad. It's basically Reddit.
Yeah, this is what
Yeah, it's essentially.
this is what the internet used to be, a
Yeah,
collection.
these are called message boards or
Yeah.
forums, as they used to call them.
I don't feel bad that you don't know what it's like. You don't appreciate what you have.
This is pre-Google,
true.
pre-Google era right here.
True.
This is before
Yes.
Google was
Do
existing.
not give out insider password.
That's a good one. Perfect Dark or Red Faction? What's the better FPS? Ooh, that had to get really intense.
I mean, I'm gonna say Red Faction actually, even though I like Perfect Dark a lot. But...
destructible environments.
I would wholeheartedly disagree, but yeah.
Well, come on, though. I mean,
Whoa.
Red Faction back in the day with the rocket launchers, and you could just blow up the terrain. It was so fun.
But what about the GOAT? Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I wish I could read this.
Dude, Potters are man.
So
Hard
good.
going back to that
Fucking
game. I just played it recently on Xbox
It's
as it came to
hard,
Game
man.
Pass. It is so fast. It's like you just hit the wall so quickly.
Yeah. Where there 2 Star Fox 64s. I don't know if that guy could spell very good.
What if he's talking about the
These are great.
licensing thing because they called it a different name in like Europe and stuff,
Oh.
Ooh.
or Star Fox 2 that never got. Oh, I guess it got
Oh.
released now.
Yeah, it's
WrestleMania 2000.
Why does
Ooh.
so many people hate the loading of games?
because it sucks.
It would suck balls,
This
dude.
is the worst. Zelda Ocarina of Time. We all knew that was the GOAT. Okay, let's look at this quick list from Video Games Chronicle. This is their top N64 games. Let's judge this quickly. At their number 25 out of 25, Wave Race 64. I don't know. Does that feel kind of low?
A little bit low.
Yeah, it's
Depending
definitely
on
like
what's
in
above
the.
it.
It's definitely in the best of the best. So
Yeah,
again, where you put it, it's because and again, this is the era too where like, imagine if like Sony was like, all right, we're developing a AAA wave race game, jet ski game. It's like what?
Yeah.
But I kind of miss this stuff too. You know, I kind of miss it.
Yeah.
Cruising World and stuff. Yeah.
the music
Oh,
and
yeah.
Wave Race is one of my favorite things about that game, by the way.
Oh, dude, yeah, the jazz, like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, they
rad.
somebody put out like a vinyl of it a few years ago, and
Look at that
yeah,
booty.
It's sick, man. Caked up.
Kicked up.
I would say, like, as far as graphics, like, N64 is the hardest one to, I feel like, show people nowadays because I don't know.
Yeah.
It was the very start of that.
They don't
like,
get it.
I'd say N64 is the best out of that whole generation.
Yeah, it's
Totally.
it's like the smoothest polygons of that era. Like, I feel like PlayStation did a really good job of packing in detail, whereas N64 didn't. Like, the resolution felt like smooth. You know what I mean? And that was sort of the difference.
Yeah, literally,
oh,
literally the hardware differences where, yeah.
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 So
I mean,
there's
yeah,
ups
of,
and downs.
of that generation, I'm just saying, like, of retro kind of graphics, it's probably the one that holds up the least. Is that generation?
Because
So,
pixel art
yeah.
is still really beautiful if it's done right. You know. So
Right.
Oh,
Precisely, yeah.
absolutely.
I still believe that eventually, like, we're gonna come back to this stuff. Like, it's all gonna come back where people make polygonal, like, 3D games.
Oh, they're already doing
I feel
that.
like people will do that only out of nostalgia and
Yeah.
not necessarily because it's good looking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
already.
know. I feel like it's going to be more of like a generational thing where you're going to have people who grew up with this stuff are going to want games like this, whereas a lot of us have wanted games that were pixel.
Mhm. Yeah, I
light
mean,
based. I don't know.
indie devs are doing this kind of stuff, making games seem retro. You're seeing that a lot. Not to mention like Gen Z or whatever, or like the youngsters are wanting like old digital cameras because they think it look cool, even though they're like low megapixels. Like just the same reason I want vinyl records, because I just think they're cool and fun to collect, and they still sound good. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be a want for retro things.
For those
I think.
people who collect VHS tapes, which I find fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have like younger bands putting out cassette tapes for not just demos, but their whole album. And I'm like,
It's happening.
you realize it's like the worst fucking medium to put a music out on. Hey, that's just me.
Remember when stuff
We
used
moved
to...
forward for a reason for a lot of this.
Well, people want to move backward too. So, all right, let's hit
I mean,
some...
I don't know if anyone ever played a tape a bunch of times and it just stopped
And it got
fucking working.
And it got ate by your device. It like literally was eaten alive. Yeah.
Or you just played it so much it degraded. So like it's the worst medium to put anything out on. But that I don't know.
But hey,
everything comes back.
Tape delay effects machines are pretty rad, though. I will say, in the sound
cool.
design set space. Let's go through a few more of these other games. Blast Core. I think we've all played this one, probably. That was kind of weird. I would put Wave Race ahead of that, to be honest.
Me too. I was about to say already. I don't like that.
Mario Party 1, 2, and 3 should be above Wave Race for sure. Those games still obviously
Those
hold
are so
up.
fun.
Jim Tasty
Incredible.
be streaming this game and shit sometimes.
Love those games.
Star Wars Rogue Squadron and Episode 1, Battle for Naboo, goated.
Yeah.
Goated. Sin and Punishment, I don't know what the
Hell
fuck this
yeah.
is. I don't
It's
know.
like Star Fox. It's like Star Fox where it's a rail shooter, so you're always going forward.
Yeah.
And you just gotta move and dodge. But you're like on foot.
I got
Nice.
a wild story too. So.
Beetle Adventure Racing.
Do you
This
remember
game's
that?
No.
this game's actually pretty good. The thing about the N64 era was like there was like a billion kart racers.
Yeah.
Like, so many. It's crazy when you like look through like the library. It's like, dang, there's like so many. But that was just what people were into at the time.
If I'm not mistaken, this came out. I just saw it as like a big ad. That came out when that body style of Bug came out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they relaunched the bug after all those years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
and then that game came out for it. It was sort of like what was it? 7-Up Spot. The
Oh
Spot
yeah,
game.
that was Super Nintendo. Yeah, I love that
Remember
game.
shit, yeah.
My friend had that. Conker's Bad Fur
Classic
Day.
ass shit, dude.
Great game.
Mhm.
Still holds up if you play.
Should
the
be a little
360
higher in
version.
my opinion, but you know.
Yeah,
Conker.
yeah, and they're putting 1080 snowboarding above Conker. I don't know about
I
that.
had to,
What do you guys think?
Again,
it was good though.
It was good, and the soundtrack was super dope too. Like the main menu theme song is always like stuck in my head. And again, like when would they ever like this era, and then maybe the next generation too with like SSX Tricky and stuff. Like when would you make a big budget like first party snowboarding game? Like you just never would do
Seriously.
it. So
Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah, it was super cool.
was definitely groundbreaking. You have to admit. Pilotwing 64. That game was fun, but I could never figure it out as a little kid
Yeah.
for some reason.
It was hard as a little kid too. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I would put this lower personally. Paper Mario, was that on N64?
Yeah.
It was.
Oh, no way.
Dude. This
Wow.
game rules so hard. I think it's honestly
It
my
does.
favorite. I know Thousand Year Door got the remake announcement a little bit ago, which I'm over the moon about. I think I like this one a little bit better. I don't know if that's like just
Wow.
a little spicy take, but with the factor in that like the N64 had an RPG problem where there just weren't
Yeah.
a lot of them on there.
Quest 64?
Hey, Quest 64.
Yeah. God.
That game's all right. I think this game is like a 9 out of
I'm
10
kidding.
or 10
I'm
out
kidding.
of
I'm
10.
100% kidding.
Like, and this is like the best. I think this does the best job of like actually exploring the Mushroom Kingdom, because you play like the main Mario titles, and like there's just there's not a lot of Mario lore out there. This game actually kind of like breathes life into the whole Mushroom Kingdom, so it's fantastic.
Well,
Amazing game.
so did Super Mario RPG. Moving on. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, which was, I'll put this like maybe my number one, maybe, possibly. So I played the fuck out of this game. You guys have this game? Anyone?
No, never played it.
Miguel, you know
Nope.
about this?
I say I know about it, but I don't know too much about it, to be honest with you.
Oh my
wait,
god.
I think I've played this fucking game.
Yeah, I don't know why I had this game, but I did, and I played the ever-loving shit out of it, and it's so fun and so cool. Look up footage of it. And the music is iconic to me personally.
Man.
Yeah, Blockbuster helped a lot. Yeah, for sure. Episode 1 Racer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still great.
Alderbeto right there. That's his pod racer.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Dude,
wow.
Neva Key, dude, like that was my favorite one. He was the one that didn't have the purple like laser. It was like all one unit body because his turning was so great. And that again, what's so good about like these kind of video games is like in the movie, like there's like 30 pod racers. You don't really get to meet any of them except Sebulba. And and then like Neva Key gets punked in the race, or Ben Quaternaros, who's like the best racer.
Oh yeah.
He's the best racer in this game. His stats are out of this world, and like
He just gets
they
wrecked.
they get punked in the movie. Like, amazing.
By a child, no less.
Yeah,
Right.
good point.
Well, he doesn't even get off the runway. His power coupling breaks, and it
Yeah, they shoot out. Yeah.
Now this is pod racing. Soccer
So
games.
Wizard, dude.
Soccer.
Soccer games. I didn't play any soccer games whatsoever on the 64.
No.
So I can.
I remember,
Forecast
playing
this.
Mia Hamm's soccer a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, like I never like played a lot of soccer games back then, but when you look at some of the best games on the system, like there's like a couple FIFAs in there, stuff like that are pretty.
I mean, it kind of looks like a modern FIFA game, like it's pretty on par,
yeah,
kind of.
FIFA hasn't changed for 23 years.
soccer.
And we got one of like the best kart racer of all time, Diddy Kong Racing. That's right. With the the kids laughing at the very beginning every time you turn that game on. Remember the kids?
Oh
laughing?
my gosh, yeah.
I was
This is
talking
okay. This is an odd story, but playing this game was when I learned my first cuss word, the F-bomb.
Oh, what?
Really?
Because back in this day, video games had cheat codes, and there was a code called, I think, Fun Balloons that would give you like instant or unlimited speed boost. And I typed in C instead of N, and I was with my cousin, and he's like 2 years older than me, so he already knew that word, I guess, and was giggling. I was like, "Why are you laughing so much?" And he told me, and then started yelling it around in the house, and my parents got really mad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but what's
That's
funny
great.
about that is Fun Balloons. That's titties.
Yeah.
Then we got Smash
Aw.
Bros.
Oh, so
Look at
good.
those polygons.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
that Miguel.
That's hot.
That's hot.
It is hot.
Who's everyone's main? Did you have a main in Smash Bros. 64?
Fox.
I always played Pikachu.
Nice.
With Smash, with all of them, I love playing as Samus, even though she's not the best. I just love Metroid so much, so like I always would rock her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm the same. Samus. Yeah.
I was a Captain Falcon main and still am to this day.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Falcon Punch forever, man.
Falcon Punch.
Your boobs.
Samus rules, by the way, and all of the characters from the OG I'm down with too, especially Luigi.
Oh, and like going back up to Smash real quick, like the inclusion of the secret character when you unlock Ness again, because I was born in
Jigglypuff?
1990. I was born in 1993, so like I had no idea what Earthbound was, and then you get to see who Ness is, and you're like, what is going on? And then like even years later, finally getting to play it, like I was like, oh my gosh, like again, Smash Bros. Again, the cross franchise, all of it, amazing.
It was unbelievable at the time, for sure.
I absolutely love it. Then we have the we all know I was never really into wrestling, but the N64 wrestling games are legendary. I know we all played them. at
Those
some point.
wrestling games were awesome. I will say that. Those were always fun.
So cool and ridiculous. Star Fox 64, which is still like one of the best games of all time, 100%.
It's a 10 out of 10. Like
Yeah.
what's so I think unique or like dignifying about this era, or like identifying, is like this is the start of like the cinematic game like getting a cinematic experience playing video games. Because I know you could go back to like Super Nintendo and Final Fantasy VI or whatever, but like for me that's not as cinematic because like when you're playing this game and like you get to the end and like your dad quote unquote save you and stuff like that, like the full voice acting, like it's incredible, man. This game rules.
Yeah, but
100%.
Between this game and Metal Gear Solid, it was like groundbreaking stuff for like cinematic moments in video games for sure. It went
choose your own adventure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the cool thing about Star Fox as well, is just the different paths and what they would lead to, and also getting good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mario Kart 64, which everyone loved, although I still liked the Super Nintendo version more for some reason, and Diddy Kong Racing was better.
I love Mario Kart 64. It's just the kind of jank of it, I think makes it really fun. Obviously, like the weapon system and how you get better weapons when you're further back, and so like you're kind of just never out of the game.
Yeah.
Like, can it be infuriating, but also makes it so that like playing with your friends is always fun. I don't know. It's a good time.
Unless you're first.
It may be nostalgia for me, but this is like my favorite Mario Kart. Because I think I legit think this game has the best battle mode out of any of them.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
It's just like, and then having the like pixel like kart racers within the 3D environment. Again, leveling up from 2-player to 4-player because instead of just playing with one person, you got to actually have like 3 people with you. Like, it's so good, man.
Yeah,
it was great.
Double Dash is my favorite Mario Kart, for the record.
That one was
That's acceptable. That's an acceptable answer.
Oh, F-Zero.
F-Zero X. Remember this shit? This was cool.
60 FPS, dude. When those a lot of N64 games were like 15 or 20 or whatever, like this game was 60 locked, dude.
That's hot.
The soundtrack is really good.
Oh god, yeah.
Blue, what's it called? Something Big Blue Raceway and
Big
Rippin' and the Terran. The Rippin' and the Terran.
So real
Big
quick,
Blue, yeah.
not to take us off too long because we've been going long, but I really want a modern F-Zero game that is a third-person action game part of the time, and then has races like where you play, because Captain Falcon is a bounty hunter. That's actually his backstory.
Yeah.
And I would love to like be Captain Falcon. You have to go around and like do levels and fight these other people, and then at the end of it, for whatever reason, you just have to race them over. I want to like have it be where like you do these races, but then there's
Like a
all these
speed
missions
racer.
on the side. It'd be great.
You hear that, Miyamoto? Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. I mean, we all know these are legendary games. Although I never had them. I played them way later. I never had my hands on them. Yeah, I just never got them. I don't know why. Just never happened.
And the music was so cool too for those games. Awesome, man.
One of the cool things about this game, I believe it was the first time anyone had ever done it. If not, it was definitely the most notable, of like the transitional like aspect of the music. Like if you walk from one area to the next, like the music would slowly fade in and out as opposed to just tracks starting and stopping. I think it was Gage that said it, like the fact that people are even like having the conversation that this is better than Mario 64, regardless of what side you're on. Like the fact that there's a conversation is credit to this game. And I'm mad at Microsoft that they won't bring this series back, because I think it could still do well.
I think it's a licensing nightmare or something like that, but I don't know.
Like you were talking about with the music, that was cool too. In Banjo-Tooie, at least, I don't remember if it was in Banjo-Kazooie, but it might have been. Like even if you went into different parts of the level, the instrumentation of the music would change. So like if you went into like the woods, like where it might have been like banjo and a nice sunny part of the thing, it would turn into like flute and be kind of like mystic in the woods. And like I always remember that being super immersive and crazy.
You know,
and underwater, you could swim underwater and stuff. That was kind of cool.
That was gangster.
Yeah.
You know what game did that as well with the music transitions? Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. So there you go. I'm not kidding. That is 100% true. GoldenEye 007. We all loved it.
Yeah.
We don't really got to talk much about it. It was the best shooter of all time at the time. You try to play it now and you'll realize it's still good. At least the new version of it is modern controls are revolutionized. Try to play it on an N64 with an N64 controller now, and you'll be baffled.
I do not know how we used to play that for hours on end.
Right?
It's fucking terrible, but I have so many great memories with that fucking game.
Same, yeah.
All
How
the
did I
different
even
modes
beat
that you
that
could
game? Is
do.
what I wonder now.
I know.
So fucking good, dude.
This
So good.
game is so good that I borrowed it from my friend and I didn't want to give it back, and it was like a huge fight between us. I was like, no, I want to keep it now. I love it so much, but the Xbox port is
very good
because the controls are actually like twin stick.
Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah.
Gage, I thought you were gonna say something.
Actually, to be honest, I was a perfect dark guy. I never really played Gold. I mean, I played GoldenEye, but I was a perfect dark guy.
Hey, look, it's Perfect Dark.
There we go.
It's the better of the two, in my opinion.
No, I mean, it definitely was an upgrade on GoldenEye, but I think I have more fond memories of GoldenEye personally.
The multiplayer from Perfect Dark, I remember
so
having
good.
a good time with too.
Well,
that game was fun too.
They had some GoldenEye levels in Perfect Dark, right?
Yep.
And what was that one gun? There's that one gun that you could literally shoot through walls.
Yeah, it was a sniper. It was like the alien sniper. Yeah.
Basically, whoever could lock on first, like you won. So.
Yep. I remember that shit. And it gave us a gray alien buddy, which was great. And then we get, of course, Mario 64, one of the most revolutionary games of all time. In fact, in that video I started the episode out with, which you should watch, they show off the game where it's like, he's moving in 360 degrees. And they're like, what? That's crazy. Oh, look, he can climb the tree, too. Like, those things that seem so, like, just whatever now, were literally, like, mind-blowing. Seeing it for the first time.
It's the controls. I think that's why this game is so legendary, is that it feels so good to play, and then you go into the game design aspect, like you're going from level to level to level, getting each star, boom, boom, boom. Like you're always like doing something cool, like minute to minute. It's amazing.
I feel like this is one of the 64 games that holds up to this day. Like one of the best 64 games in that regard.
Even just the idea of like the hub world being Peach's Castle, and how like you went into levels, but then Peach's Castle itself was kind of a level because there's secrets within that, and like you know, finding like mirrors and paintings and like just
getting
like
on
the
top
way
of the
that
castle was a thing too.
Yep.
Like,
like, the way you unlock the whole thing is cool.
Like I got, because of this game, because of the when I got this game in my life, like going to Nintendo World and Universal Studios in Peach's Castle when you first walk in, just like it gave me chills. You know what I mean? It's like that cool. Majora's Mask, which I just never played. Again, another game I just like didn't have the money for or something, but I want to play one day. But I hear it's great.
It was fun.
This is my favorite Zelda game of all time.
Wow.
Because I think the emotional like connection to this game and like the themes that they go into are so like deep. You know, it's all about like loss and depression and grief and how you handle all that stuff. Like it's super powerful. And I think, I mean, I'm sure another game's done it, but they're like the living city element to it, where like you had the guidebook, the bomber's notebook, and you had to like, okay, if you wanted to do this quest, hey, they've got a schedule, so they're going to be at this place at this time, and you got to be there. Like, as opposed to, I love Bethesda RPGs, but where some dude's just like standing in one spot for 24 hours a day, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know, like this game, like they had a schedule, and I always have, you know, respect for this game too, where it's like, okay, Ocarina of Time, this is a legendary game. It's like, how do you follow up with that? You totally shift gears and do something completely different. And I definitely respect that. The cool holographic cartridge too. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Oh yeah, totally.
Dude, showing the Link swiping the sword. Yeah.
Miguel, or you?
It was this game is dark too. It's a really dark game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember that aspect of the game itself. I do remember liking that game quite a bit, though. So,
do you remember the fucked up moon?
I do remember the fucked up moon.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Like, I mean, when you beat the game and you have the little drawing of the Skull Kid and Link, like, just wanted a friend, man. Just wanted a friend.
Have you guys ever seen I forget what studio did it? Some studio made like a Majora's Mask trailer that was like in super high def. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Was it like Ember Labs or something like that? Like they like
maybe.
now.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
games
Oh
now.
yeah, they made They made
It is Ember
Kena,
Lab.
Bridge of Spirits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I got
remember
the
that.
Ember Labs. Let's go.
Good on you.
And then, of course, the greatest Zelda or the greatest N64 game of all time, which I agree with, is Ocarina of Time, which again still holds up, I think, to this day.
Oh yeah,
So, yeah.
this game is again so cinematic. Like
Yeah.
it feels mythical and like the legendary status of good versus evil and you know
Come on,
leveling.
the
Like,
Ganondorf fight.
Yeah, dude.
oh my god,
Dude, like the
Dude,
first
yeah.
open world game, pretty much, right? Basically,
kinda yeah, and
kind of.
right?
I want them to remake this game so bad. Like you always
Oh.
see those like Unreal Engine videos on YouTube where it's like
Yeah.
Zelda. It's like the 3DS version's cool and it's great, but like man, this game with like modern hardware would be so good.
It'd be so great. Cool. Well, that's a Nintendo 64. A lot of games, a lot of stuff, a lot of talk, a lot of hype, good times. Miguel, you got any closing thoughts on the N64? Any like fun story? I know we didn't get to it because my shit crashed earlier.
No, it's all good. No, I don't really have like my main memory of that system was a lot of multiplayer. You know, it did have the 4 controller ports or whatever, if I'm not mistaken. So you'd
It
get
was
4
the
guys,
first,
and you'd do the split screen, you know, couch co-op, and that was always fun to me. And I like I said, I kind of miss that at this point because everyone's at their own house for the most part. There's an aspect of gaming that no longer exists, in my opinion, as far as with the loss of the arcade. And obviously, couch co-op doesn't really, you don't do that very often nowadays. But
Right.
I mean,
like-
it's still available on some games. Some games have done, you know,
Right.
done a good job bringing that back. But
So-
overall, I just remember having a really good time with a bunch of people.
Always.
Pokemon Stadium, right?
Mhm.
I mean, come on. That was the one thing I wanted to touch on before we and it was like the Lickitung mini games, the sushi thing, the
Sushi, yeah.
and just
So
having
good.
it like in 3D and seeing like Charizard and stuff like them. I don't know, just doing their attacks and stuff was kind of cool at the time. But
That game was so understandable too. I used to play that game with my mom. She used to battle me. That was pretty good.
Oh, that's hilarious.
yeah, but with those mini games, the mini games, I remember being the go-to like couch, like multiplayer thing for us. So
Just trying to play some B-roll of this as we continue to talk. Brett, any closing thoughts on the N64?
Yeah, I think like we already said, like it elevated multiplayer. It was, you know, which is funny because Nintendo kind of struggles in that regard with, you know, some elements now with online. But like this was like the birth of like the 4-player multiplayer environment. Again, elevating like the cinematic nature of like stories and video games. And I don't know, like, you know, maybe a hot take, but I think this is like, I think the best of this library, of the N64's library, it can stand up with anything. When you include like Ocarina of Time and Paper Mario and Super Mario 64 and, you know, Mario Party and stuff like that, like it's an incredible system. But it was also the start of like the doom of Nintendo when they stuck with the cartridge versus the CD.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because I mean, playing the PlayStation and Xbox, you know, you're getting like, I felt like more depth in gaming, whereas N64 was still kind of like becoming more of just like, oh, that's just the kid console. And they started releasing more and more shovelware and stuff like that over time, which I think they rebounded pretty well with the GameCube. But absolutely, like, you know, N64 just kind of cemented the pit they dug themselves into with the kid-focused gaming. And
Which they are still kind of in, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like they have their way of doing things, but I feel like they have a good enough library, and especially with the Switch and the way that things are ported, and there's just so many games on that console, albeit it's old as fuck now, and it's showing its age for sure. Nintendo's still just putting out games that are just plain fun. And then N64, I mean, it still did that. But the fact that, like, you know, Nintendo defined essentially 4-player gaming, which became the standard from then until now. Like, literally, it's still the standard, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, even with, like, Apex Legends, right? Like, 4-player squads max, right? And that's a huge game, right? you got to give Nintendo credit for revolutionizing things. And again, I can't overstate what it felt like watching that VHS over and over and over again and seeing like what 360-degree movement was and how mind-blowing it was. Because even with PlayStation games, we weren't really getting that. You know, like even with 3D games that were just kind of a fixed camera point. But then Mario 64 came out and we were like, what the fuck is this? I was like, Mom, look at this. Look at this, Mom. You know, so I just loved the console. It was great. All right, guys. N64, Brett, boys night. We're gonna have to conclude that.
Boys night.
Good times. Shout outs again to Hello from the Magic Tavern. Let's get our endorsements in so we can all get back to our normal lives. Who wants to go first this week?
I can go if you want.
All right,
I
Gage.
can fall on that grenade.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna endorse the Wayback Machine. We were using it to look at the old IGN website. If you don't know, the Internet Archive has a program called the Wayback Machine, which allows you to look at snippets of sites from the internet throughout the history of it. It's not complete, obviously. It's a nonprofit organization that makes it happen. But it's pretty amazing. You can go to a ton of old websites and see, old versions of them. So it's pretty cool to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna endorse Shudder. It's spooky season's upon us. I've already started watching horror films. This is, by the way, footage of the Wayback Machine website. You could just plug in a website and then browse their history all the way back to like the 90s. It's pretty wild. Shudder is like Netflix, but for horror films. There's a lot of stuff on there. There's some schlocky, some crazy, some original programming. But if you like horror films, you can find a lot on there, including the Color Out of Space original film, which is based on an H.P. Lovecraft book, or novella, I should say, or novel, short story, whatever, which I love. The movie is loosely based on it. I love them both individually, and it has Nick Cage in it. So I recommend you get Shudder one, at least for this month. I'm going to do it again. I do it every October. And you can also watch Creep Show. They got all of the Creep Show series on there. It's an anthology series, kind of like think Tales from the Crypt or like Twilight Zone or whatever, but like really fucked up horror stuff. Who else has an endorsement?
I know it's not a political podcast, but I'm going to endorse the strikers for the auto workers UAW strike.
Hell yeah.
That should be happening. I'm glad it's happening. Good job.
Get them.
Well, and we just had news
strikes
of SAG-AFTRA, right?
Yep, SAG-AFTRA, yep. That's going on as well.
Video game stuff.
In Vegas, as well, the culinary union just voted.
Culinary union is going to strike too.
Good.
We stand with strikers, man. Pay people more.
Yep. And on that note, my endorsement is baby carrots.
Ooh.
Oh shit!
They're awesome, nice
dude.
and crunchy. It's a guilt-free snack, bro. And you dip that in ranch, and it's a little bit of guilt.
It's my boy.
Baby carrots.
Love
it.
that.
That leaves Jim Tasty himself, man. What endorsement do you have for us, man?
All right, I'm gonna endorse two things. I'm gonna endorse number one, sandwiches. They're just awesome.
Good. Love
Yes.
So many ingredients. You get to there's so many possibilities. And then I'm also gonna endorse Attack of the Clones, man. It's all it's known as maybe the worst Star Wars movie, but with the perspective of you can always find something good in the bad, right? So there's always like little elements in that movie or anything else that might be maligned in some way that you can still, if you look for it, you can still enjoy, some things. So, Attack of the Clones.
You want to buy some death sticks?
Yeah.
You don't want to buy some death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is my favorite
Not want
prequel
to go
movie.
home and rethink.
And also, episode 3, I just want to say, had the best lightsaber fight. of the
Oh
series,
yeah, you're right.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, The Yoda fight from Attack of the Clones is pretty sweet, but yeah.
It's,
you're right.
it's pretty close.
People
yeah.
hate on that.
I love
People
it.
hate on it now, but at the
course
time,
you
like
did.
I remember my theater was losing their mind of that.
Erupting. Oh my god! As a kid in the theater,
It was
And
crazy.
Like, oh my god. You
You
kidding
had never
me?
seen
Yeah.
you had never seen him use a lightsaber before, so it was
Also,
crazy.
I've never been more attracted to Natalie Portman than when she gets her
Oh, yeah.
shirt ripped by that tiger thing.
Same. Yeah.
You and everyone else, Gage.
She's
Fine.
she ain't pregnant in that movie.
Wow. Wow.
All right, guys.
Damn, Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, I know you love
Tasty,
it.
promote your stuff so people know where to find you. on
Pimp
the
your
internet.
shit, man.
Yeah. So I stream on twitch.tv/JimTasty about every day. We usually play some sort of first-person shooter or battle royale, or we'll play, an RPG or a Nintendo game. We basically play anything over there. And then I'm also part of a podcast group called Shared Screens, where we review movies and games and music, and again, pretty much anything pop culture. So we always have a fun time talking about fun stuff over there as well.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Follow them. We got shared screens. You could just Google these things and find them as well. You know what I mean? I know you guys got some YouTube content going on there too. So I just want to, thank you, Jim, Tasty. Thank you, Brett, for being a part of this. Our nerdiness. This is what we do here. We get nerdy. We get crazy. We're here every week. Again, please follow him and his stuff. It doesn't cost a thing. And we hope to see you back next week. You know what I'm saying? You guys have any last wishes? You guys got any like last will and testament before you?
When you wish upon a star.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
Save the whales.
Oh, we got one more thing. All right, go ahead.
Okay, Nintendo 1 year ago announced Mario Party 3 was coming to the Switch Online service, and it still hasn't shown up. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, come on,
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
I want
Dang
to
it,
play Mario
Nintendo.
Party 3 with my friends online.
You hear that shit,
There you go.
Miyamoto?
Get with it.
And Pokemon Red and Blue. Come on now. Anyways.
I
Yeah.
know, I
Bring
know.
Pokemon to Nintendo Switch
Oh,
Online.
come on, Pokemon. Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Pokemon.
Thanks for listening. If you're listening on podcast services, remember we're on there too.
Hey.
We love you, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.